Long ago, beyond the valleys of time, there was a place few believed existed, the kingdom of Eloria. It was said to be hidden beneath an eternal mist, where the sun never fully broke through and the air shimmered like silver. In this realm lived a young boy named Arin, who worked as a candle maker in the lower markets. His hands were always covered in wax, his clothes smelled of smoke, and his dreams felt too big for the small life he lived. Every day, Arin looked toward the mist mountains that guarded Eloria's border. He'd heard stories whispered by travelers, that somewhere beyond that endless fog stood the Crystal Tower, a place where light itself was alive, and whoever touched its flame would discover their true purpose. But no one had ever returned from the mountains. His grandmother, a woman of wrinkled wisdom and quiet laughter, often warned him, "The mist does not hide light, my boy. It hides truth, and truth is not always kind." Yet inside Arin's heart burned a longing that words could not cool. One evening, as the winds howled through the valley and thunder rolled across the horizon, Arin made his choice. He packed his small satchel, a loaf of bread, a flint, and a candle of his own making, and set off toward the mist mountains. The path was steep, the air colder with every step. Shadows twisted between the trees like memories, and strange whispers rode the wind. The mist grew thicker, turning the world into a pale dream. Hours passed, and Arin began to doubt. He thought of his grandmother, his small room in the market, his warm little fire, and wondered if the stories were just that, stories. But then, through the fog, he saw a faint glow. A single ray of golden light, faint but steady, leading deeper into the mist. Following the glow, Arin arrived at a clearing where the light seemed to dance upon the air itself. There stood an old gatekeeper, robed in silver and grey, his eyes glowing softly. "Why do you seek the light?" the old man asked, his voice like wind in the hollow of a tree. Arin hesitated. "Because I want to see what lies beyond. I want to know my purpose." The gatekeeper nodded slowly. "Then step through, but know this, every step forward will take something from you. The light demands truth, and truth demands sacrifice." Without fear, Arin walked forward. The moment he entered, his candle flickered violently. Visions surrounded him, illusions shaped from his own mind. He saw himself mocked by others, told he'd never be enough. He saw the faces of those who had laughed at his dreams. Then he saw himself growing bitter, giving up, turning into the very kind of man who once doubted him. He fell to his knees, trembling. "No," he whispered, clutching his candle, "I won't be that person." The illusions shattered like glass, fading into mist. In their place appeared the old gatekeeper once more, but this time his robe shimmered with gold. "You have passed the first trial," he said gently. "You faced the darkness within." But Arin was not finished. The path led further into the mist, where the mountains rose sharper and the ground glowed with veins of blue crystal. Strange creatures moved through the haze, shadows shaped like wolves, whispering doubts into his ears. "You're just a boy. You're wasting your life. Turn back." He ignored them. Step by step, he walked forward, even as his candle burned lower, even as fear gnawed at him. Finally, after what felt like eternity, he reached the foot of the Crystal Tower. It shimmered like a frozen sun, reaching into the sky, its surface alive with flowing light. But at the gate stood a mirror, tall, ancient, and still. In it, Arin saw not the boy he was, but every failure, every fear, every time he'd wanted to quit. The mirror spoke in his own voice, "You are not enough. You don't deserve the light." He looked down at his dying candle. Then, with trembling hands, he placed it at the base of the mirror. The flame caught, brighter than ever before, and for the first time, he smiled. "Maybe I'm not perfect," he said softly, "but I'm still burning." The mirror cracked, and then shattered into 1,000 stars. As the shards dissolved into the air, the door of the Crystal Tower opened with a whisper. Inside was not gold or power, but a vast chamber of light. The walls pulsed like the heart of the world, and in the center floated a single glowing sphere. When Arin stepped closer, the light flowed toward him, wrapping around him like warmth on a winter morning. He heard a voice, not outside, but inside his own mind. "You sought your purpose," it said. But purpose isn't found in towers or treasures. It lives in the courage to face what you fear and still move forward. You have carried your light all along. Arin closed his eyes, tears of wonder streaming down his face. The light entered his heart, and for a moment, everything was still. The mist outside began to lift, revealing the kingdom in golden dawn. When Arin returned to Eloria, he no longer worked just to make candles. He taught others to make them, to bring light where darkness lingered, to help those who had lost faith. People began to say that his candles burned longer and brighter than anyone's, as if they carried a piece of heaven itself. And whenever someone asked him where he learned the craft, he would smile and say, "The flame taught me not how to shine, but how to keep burning, even in the mist." Moral of the story: the greatest light lies not in the world around us but in the courage within. True purpose isn't found in what you gain, it's discovered in what you overcome.